We do understand that the ministry is applying for a fund that is going to help revitalize the education sector. How is this fund, the $20 million, going to be doled out and also spent on various sectors within the ministry?
Most importantly is to prepare for the reopening of schools, because when we go back to when we are reopening, we shall have the SOPs for the sector. And among them, we expect that we shall be handling issues of water and sanitation in the schools. The schools will need psychosocial support, because when they open, both the teachers and the learners will need support. There will be anxiety, there will be uncertainties, there will be... So we need to have some resource put in addressing that. We need data. For example, now when we're distributing items, learning items, we didn't know, for example, who is accessing radio and TV for the learners and who is not. We didn't know who can access internet and therefore can get these materials online and who is not. We didn't know even the location of these children, because as we deliver the printed materials to the RDCs, we are only depending on them to work through the LC system to reach each learner in these villages. We didn't have the information. So those are some of the areas. But also building capacity. We need to build capacity of the inspectorate. Inspectorate or Education Standards Directorate, to be able to go and see if actually the SOPs are being implemented in the schools.
There are so many children out there who cannot access TV, radio in the villages. How are you planning to reach them? And yet you're using just LCs who don't have the capacity to reach almost every family out there. And this is a planting season where most of these children, their attention is completely divided.
We knew that not everybody has access to radio, to TV. And then those who don't have access to TV, they will have access to radios. You know, the most tiny phone here has a radio. They are called katochi. So we knew those who won't be able to get to TV, get access to TV, they will have radio. Secondly, those who will not have radio, the most vulnerable, we should have the printed materials. So the printed materials is actually meant for only about 25%. 25%. That's why people are saying, we haven't got these materials. Not everybody has got them. Of course, it wasn't intended for everybody, because we knew, first of all, it was very expensive. And as you may be aware, this ministry didn't get any budget for this activity. So we're basically trying to operate within the little means we had.
These materials don't cater for the special interest groups. What plan does the ministry have, because the clock is ticking and they are still left behind?
We have taken care of them, and we are changing. National Curriculum Development Center is reprogramming these materials into usable materials.
Photocopy these materials that you're sending to the local councils. Most of these people who can't afford a katochi phone, which is about 30,000 Ugandan shillings, cannot afford the money to print, or to photocopy these materials. So what's the plan?
We are also aware that other parents may not afford photocopy. But the responsibility of educating children in this country is not only for this ministry. It's a shared responsibility. So, whereas today it will be the parent, in other cases, it can be the local leadership.
There are those who have accessed the materials, and there are some who are going to be left out. And they might not be at the same level with those who have gotten the opportunity. So what's the plan? How is it going to be done to ensure that all the students and pupils are at par?
When we issued our first circular, we said these materials are revision materials. We covered only, these materials were covering only topics we had covered at that time. So it means when we go back, and it is our plan, that we'll begin where we stopped and cover the entire syllabus.
Are these materials meant for only government schools, or even the private school students and pupils are supposed to access them?
When we send materials, we are sending to children. We are not sending to schools. We are sending to children. So for us, we don't distinguish between private and public.
Thank you so much for talking to NTV.